and I decided finally to get involved because I realized if I wasn't willing to step up and be true to the things I believe in, then the system wouldn't change. Every single one of you had that same kind of moment at the beginning of your careers. Maybe it was just listening to stories in your neighborhood. About what was happening to people who'd been laid off of work. Maybe it was your own family experience. Somebody got sick and didn't have health care and you said something should change. Something inspired you to get involved. And something inspired you to be a Democrat instead of running as a Republican. Because somewhere deep in your heart you said to yourself, I believe in an America in which we don't just look out for ourselves. That we don't just tell people you're on your own, that we are proud of our individualism. We are proud of our liberty, but we also have a sense of neighborliness and a sense of community, and we are willing to look out for one another and help people who are vulnerable and help people who are down on their luck. And give them a pathway to success and give them a ladder into the middle class. That's why you decided to run. And now a lot of us have been here a while and everybody here has taken their lumps and their bruises. And it turns out people have had to make compromises. And you've been away from families for a long time and you've missed special events for your kids sometimes. And maybe there have been times where you asked yourself, why did I ever get involved in politics in the first place? And maybe things can't change after all. And when you do something courageous, it turns out sometimes you may be attacked. And sometimes the very people you thought you were trying to help may be angry at you and shout at you. And you say to yourself, maybe that thing that I started with has been lost. But you know what? Every once in a while a moment comes where you have a chance to vindicate all. Those best hopes that you had about yourself, about this country, where you have a chance to make good. On those promises that you made in all those town meetings and all those constituency breakfasts and all that traveling through the district. All those people who you looked in the eye and you said, you know what? You're right, the system is not working for you and I'm going to make it a little bit better. And this is one of those moments. This is one of those times where you can honestly say to yourself, doggone it. This is exactly why I came here. This is why I got into politics. This is why I got into public service. This is why I've made those sacrifices. Because I believe so deeply in this country and I believe so deeply in this. Democracy, and I'm willing to stand up even when it's hard, even when it's tough. Every single one of you have made that promise not just to your constituents but to yourself. And this is the time to make true on that promise. We are not bound to win, but we are bound to be true. We are not bound to succeed, but we are bound to let whatever light we have shine. We have been debating healthcare for decades. It has now been debated for a year. It is in your hands. It is time to pass healthcare reform for America, and I am confident that you are going to do it tomorrow. Thank you very much, House of Representatives. Let's get this done. Barack Obama. On the courage and dignity of the people of Iran. Delivered June 23, 2009. Good afternoon, everybody. Today I want to start by addressing 3 issues, and then I'll take your questions. First, I'd like to say a few words about the situation in Iran. The United States and the international community have been appalled and outraged by the threats. The beatings and imprisonments of the last few days. I strongly condemn these unjust actions. And I join with the American people in mourning each and every innocent life that is lost. I've made it clear that the United States respects the sovereignty of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And is not interfering with Iran's affairs. But we must also bear witness to the courage and the dignity of the Iranian people. And to a remarkable opening within Iranian society. And we deplore the violence against innocent civilians anywhere that it takes place. The Iranian people are trying to have a debate about their future. Some in Iran, some in the Iranian government, in particular. Are trying to avoid that debate by accusing the United States and others in the West of instigating protests over the election. These accusations are patently false. They're an obvious attempt to distract people from what is truly taking place within Iran's borders. This tired strategy of using old tensions to scapegoat other countries won't work anymore in Iran. This is not about the United States or the West, this is about the people of Iran. And the future that they and only they will choose. The Iranian people can speak for themselves. That's precisely what's happened in the last few days. In 2009, no iron fist is strong enough to shut off the world from bearing witness to peaceful protests of justice. Despite the Iranian government's efforts to expel journalists and isolate itself. Powerful images and poignant words have made their way to us through cell phones and computers. And so we've watched what the Iranian people are doing. This is what we've witnessed. We've seen the timeless dignity of tens of thousands of Iranians marching in silence. We've seen people of all ages risk everything to insist that their votes are counted and that their voices are heard. Above all, we've seen courageous women stand up to the brutality and threats. And we've experienced the searing image of a woman bleeding to death on the streets. While this loss is raw and extraordinarily painful, we also know this. Those who stand up for justice are always on the right side of history. As I said in Cairo, suppressing ideas never succeeds in making them go away. The Iranian people have a universal right to assembly and free speech. If the Iranian government seeks the respect of the international community, It must respect those rights and heed the will of its own people. It must govern through consent and not coercion. That's what Iran's own people are calling for. And the Iranian people will ultimately judge the actions of their own government. Barack Obama. Address at the Disabled Veterans of American Conference. Delivered August 2, 2010. It is thank you. It is a great honor and it is true, I will be 49 this week. I have a lot more gray hair than I did last year. It is an extraordinary honor to be here. Thank you, Commander Barrera, for your kind introduction and for your lifetime of service. In the Marines in Vietnam but also as a tireless advocate for your fellow. Disabled veterans. We are grateful to you. Thank you for everything that you've done. I want to thank your great leadership team for welcoming me today, Chairman Ray Dempsey. Absolutely incoming Commander Wally Tyson. National Adjutant Art Wilson. Judy Heslep of the DAV Auxiliary. And your outstanding Executive Director in Washington, Dave Gorman. And I am pleased to be joined by a decorated Vietnam veteran, wounded warrior. And a lifetime member of the DAV, my outstanding Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Rick Shinseki. Disabled American veterans, I valued your advice and counsel when I was a senator. When I co-sponsored the Post 9/11 GI Bill. You were one of the first veterans organizations that I called upon when I began my presidential campaign. And as president, it's been my pleasure to welcome you to the White House. To make sure America is serving our veterans as well as you've served us. And, most recently, to sign advanced appropriations into law so that veterans' health care will never again be held hostage to the budget battles and the political games in Washington. Now, there's another visit I won't forget. I was in the Oval Office expecting a visit from the Dev. And in comes Bobby carrying a baseball bat. Now, it's not every day that somebody gets past the Secret Service carrying a baseball bat. You may have heard about this. It turns out it was a genuine Louisville. Slugger, a thank you for going to bat for our veterans on advanced appropriations. So I'm grateful for that symbol of our partnership, and I'm proud of the progress we've achieved together. But as one of your outstanding DAV members from Illinois just reminded me, this is a promise I made during the campaign. It was a promise made and it was a promise kept. And I intend to keep on keeping my promises to the veterans of America. In the life of our nation, not every generation has been summoned to defend our country in its hour of need. But every generation to answer that call has done so with honor and with courage. Among you are members of that generation that saved the world from fascism. I was honored to stand with our World War II vets at Normandy last year for the anniversary of D-Day. And this year, as we mark this year, as we mark the 65th anniversary of our victory in that war. We once again salute our veterans of the Second World War.